welcome you back to the Nest Podcast. Nate Wangler alongside Luke Schrock. No, it's been a while. Been working on some technical stuff. People's schedules not lining up, whatever else along the lines. You guys get it, I hope. Are you wearing a dress shirt with joggers right now?
Yes, so I it's an understatement that I probably need to catch up on a little bit of laundry, but I don't think it looks that bad.
Just better be thankful that this is just an audio podcast.
I don't think it looks
That's all I gotta say.
bad.
It looks...
Let's have the audience help us out.
There's no one... Okay, there's no one walking around campus, so I guess it would look okay.
Hey, I still say let's get a picture of it, put it on the Twitter page, and let's let the people vote.
All
and
right.
see if this really looks absolutely ridiculous.
He does.
No way.
He does.
No.
Don't give him a chance.
No shot. I can never look ridiculous. This face, never.
So there's a lot to catch up on. Men's basketball went to their 17th national tournament over spring break. Again, Coach E also has the most wins in the history of the nation. They beat Friends in their first game, turned around, lost. In kind of a tough game to lose against the College of Idaho because they really gave up a three-pointer that shouldn't have fallen. Sam was in great position to defend, ended up kind of doing that bounce high off the rim and just kind of drops. But that's basketball. I mean, that's what happens in the sport of basketball. I don't think it takes anything away from this team, but, they had a great season. It's just concerns moving forward, who's going to replace Sam?
Well, honestly... You look at the interactions with Sam. He really in his last tweet mentioned who he believes should be the next leader, and once again his name escapes me for some reason. Riley Costen. There we go. He said Sam Vanderslice. He was kind of passing the baton to Riley Costen.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I think he could make a great leader. He's going to be a senior. He's really been a help along with the leadership-wise with Sam and with Kyle back in the day.
Help is an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
exactly.
If you ever had any question about the impact that Costen has on this team, rewatch the Indiana Tech, the championship game, the WAC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times he had to wheel his way out to center court to receive an award. It must have been... 4 or 5 times. I mean, this guy, I can look up exactly all of what his accomplishments were, but there was so many times that his name was called, he had to go out to center court. It was devastating.
So it just makes you wonder what could have been.
Well, injuries are both physical and psychological.
Oh, yeah.
So you go out there after not practicing for multiple weeks, after being on a scooter, wheeling yourself around campus, walking around on crutches. It was hilarious to see him go over ice patches and through snow. I felt bad. Man, that is the worst time of the year to go through any sort of, bone injury. But Kyle Steginga didn't practice for darn near the last 6 weeks of the season. Steginga could actually walk, though.
Sure.
He was swollen up. He had bruises. He had cuts.
But
he was so banged up, but he was still able to play. And I'm not saying Riley can't play, but if you look at his numbers from those games, I mean, no points. He did get he got 7 minutes. Okay, so no, he got 16 minutes, and he got no points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. So when I look at numbers like that, and Struby again only had 10 minutes, Hibbets had 7. I think Hibbets this offseason's, they're either going to have to change his game, because I think he might have to become that replacement for Sam Vanderslice, or they're just going to have to work with him. I think it's going to be good that he's going to get a whole offseason with one team and not have to worry about bouncing in between places. That's a subject for later. But why would you put a kid in a situation like that when you know, and this is me admitting right up front, he's going to be the leader of that team next year. He's going to be.
Well, in talking with Coach E earlier, there's 2 guys and that he's thinking specifically that may become the leader next year. Riley Costen or Christian Rodriguez. Both those guys are highly liked on the team, highly respected. But the thing is they both have leadership capabilities. And he doesn't expect just one guy, as any coach would, to be the leader. He thinks it's going to be a smattering of different people doing different roles. Because let's remember, leadership isn't just one. There's just not one type of leadership. There's different types of leadership. Leadership by example, vocal leader.
Yeah. There's multiple types. Yeah.
But what we're thinking of is just that one guy that's going to lead the team from the player's perspective.
Right, he is. Yeah, so why would you put him in that sort of position? And I respect Riley, and I respect Coach, and I respect Phil, and obviously they've been doing a great job far longer than I have. I mean, I can't. I'm just a kid. I'm just a broadcast major who's been here for now, a year and a half. I don't have room to talk or criticize them. But that kind of boggled my mind that he got 16 minutes, even if it was his last time playing with Sam.
But just think about it this way. Let's put this in perspective. He's coming from practically a hover round and putting himself into the game. Think about how
what was the number 5 team in the nation coming in.
Yeah. Think about how tough that would be. Say you roll your ankle or something.
Yeah.
It's tough. Or you say, in my instance today, I got nailed in the foot with a baseball.
Right.
And it was hard to even pitch.
I mean, you pull a muscle and it's tough to go out there, but let alone, microscopic fractures in your bone. I mean, that's a different ball game altogether. So we'll have to see where that all goes out. So let's shift gears to this. There's one player on the softball team this year that is, my goodness, just going off. 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and the name is Jocelyn Hernandez, redshirt freshman from Chino Hills. And let me start here. So preseason poll comes out. I remember passing Courtney Descharme in the hallway, and she told me, I go, oh, well, how's softball? How are preseason workouts going? And she said, it's tough. And I go, well, what do you mean by tough? She goes, well, they were picked 10th in the preseason polls by the WAC. We can agree that the first half of that spring break trip pretty much went right along those lines. The second half, the ending half, when Jocelyn picked up her game, when they started hitting the ball, when they started giving pitching that type of support that they needed, things really started turning around. Now, a push can sometimes be a shove. I'm wondering if Jocelyn playing the way that she did was really kind of that spark that this team needs moving forward. Because the pitching does need help. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. That, kind of like baseball, is the weak spot. So will her performance really kind of be the turnaround deciding factor?
Well, I think that's part of it. The other part of it is there's got to be some leadership that starts up in a team like this that can just relax the team. Because in rough seasons
or bring them together.
Yeah, rough seasons or rough preseason rankings, whatever you want to call it, it's easy to lull yourself into just tightening up and worrying about how the season is actually going to work out instead of just because it's a game.
Right.
Every collegiate athlete, every high school athlete forgets that at one point in their career, and it takes a coach, a best friend, a player, a parent to bring them back.
It's really going to be interesting this year to see if this team can really mesh. Because honestly, I look at softball, and they remind me a lot of baseball in this way. Talent, they have enough talent to make some noise, at least in the WAC. I don't see a national tournament. It's going to be interesting to see if this team can actually pull it together because they got the talent. I mean, Maddie Vassar's playing well. Jocelyn Hernandez, obviously, as we mentioned, all the way leading up to this, just pounding the ball.
McKenna Raisenberg's doing well too.
Yeah,
I mean, she's one of the top hitters in that offense below Maddie Vassar and then Jocelyn Hernandez that's coming out from an injury last year as a redshirt, now a redshirt freshman. It takes time. It takes time to figure things out, to just let the season go. If you know what I'm talking about. And You can't rush things, and when people say, trust the process, it's now turned into a corny saying, but you got to step aside the corniness and really break it down, really think about it in a unbiased sense. It's true. It's really true. It takes time, it takes work, it takes effort to pull things together, especially coming off of a bad season.
Yeah. In this team, they have it. My only concern is the pitching depth. Can they find people to hold down the fort just enough that we can get some runs across? Aquinas scares me, man. Their softball program is good. They got some good players on that team, and we got no hit by them last year, so that's a big to do on the revenge tour, if you will.
And right there, you got some added inspiration to go out and fix the season.
Yeah.
If you can draw energy from that kind of a thing, then things should work out eventually.
Yeah.
Now I say should. I personally have a feeling that both baseball and softball can build upon their last seasons, especially looking at baseball and the work they put in this offseason. Softball, I've seen a couple of girls downstairs in the cage working out, and they have made some great improvements from what we were seeing last year. And you can't help but have some sort of promise.
Right,
with that.
and that brings up another point is kind of like that team bonding, that team working out as a team, being together as a team, putting the effort in as a team. Now, that's not to say that everyone cares as much as the next person. But yet to be seen here for the softball team. 5-9 so far in the year. Getting back into the season here. I can't wait to see them out on the turf field. Thankful. Zach Canaliche, Tim McTighe will most likely be on the calls this year. They're going to have to sit outside and broadcast the games because I'm not doing that anymore. It's rough.
Hey,
it's rough. No more 16-inning games. If it goes to 16, I'm leaving at 14, and I don't care. I'll keep the video up so you guys can watch it from there.
I finally I've purchased a couple of really good hand warmers. I got a new coat to handle that kind of thing.
You didn't have to worry. You were playing JV baseball when Zach and I were sitting out there.
I called a couple softball games.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Was it cold?
Yes, it was cold, actually.
Okay, sure.
I was underdressed and shivering my butt off the whole time, so ha-ha.
Rough.
I don't know if that's really a ha-ha, because that's a ha-ha on me too, but you know what I'm talking about.
Kinda. All right, moving on to this. Baseball, they also did pretty well down in spring break. Not as well as they should have done. One of the main highlights on the previous Player Spotlight show, Austin Hurt, 3 triples, his first career home run, and the big old silent treatment from the bench. That was a cool video. I loved watching that. Yeah, came in. No one was saying it. They should have cleared. They should have cleared out. Like, I don't know what the stadium looked like.
Well, there was no bleachers or anything.
There was no bleachers.
It was kind of if you've ever played travel baseball, it's kind of like that 4-diamond setup, and there's like some walkways, maybe another 4-diamond setup. But there were really no bleachers.
But there were guys giving them like high fives and handshakes before, and a little slap on the butt before he got into the. That's not a true silent treatment. You gotta empty out the place and have him be the only one in there.
I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of pro guys doing that, and none of them will clear out. They just kind of ignore them. They just keep talking with other guys. I don't know if you have to necessarily do that. I think they executed it pretty well.
Yeah.
If I was Austin, I'd fake the high fives and then maybe give somebody a nice hard slap on the back or something, and then keep going, sit on the bench, and then go down. Just to kind of mess with them. It's like, yeah, you're giving me the silent treatment. I'm still going to mess with you. Bang, and then go back to the bench.
Get your butt kicked, man. Why are you picking fights like that?
Hey,
running up, smacking people.
Well, not purposely. You don't.
What do you mean not purposely? You're gonna accidentally smack them in the back.
Okay,
you just said I'm just gonna bop them in the back. What?
Okay, I misworded that. I'll put it to you. You
misworded that.
So you don't pick the biggest guy to do that with. You go to like Liam or someone like that. It's kind of skinny. He won't really do anything to you. You just smack him on the butt or the back and just go to the bench. You got to be smart about these things. You don't go up to like a Kyle Herrick or a Colin Young that's twice your size, smack him on the back, and he beats the crap out of you. That's stupid.
Speaking of Colin Young, how about that dude, man? 7 innings, 8 Ks, no runs, and then, as if he hasn't had a great enough day already, turns around and proposes to Mackenzie Vlad on the beach.
That was unexpected.
One of the most. That picture, I looked at that picture, I was like, wow, like this guy is winning. He is winning in life.
I think, and I don't know if this is exactly true. I think they both planned that out because they had the family there. Look, that kind of a picture. You had Brandon Bush doing it, which rightfully so. That man is a wizard with a camera.
Yeah, he's good.
And you produce a picture like that. That's something you could like. That I would put that on my portfolio easily.
Why wouldn't you?
I'd send that out.
Why wouldn't you go with the surprise technique though?
I love the surprise technique.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my. I don't know about all that, but whenever I get to that point, if I get to that point, I'm going the surprise route.
Oh, easily.
You know what I mean? Like I get okay, want your family down there, it's special, but man, like if I'm him, of course that it did look set up a little bit. You had the towel out in the middle of the field with the backdrop and everything.
Yeah. But it still looks sweet.
It's still amazing.
I mean,
it's still.
If you're
this
in
is
their
all
situation-
jealousy. Yeah, this is all jealousy. That's
exactly.
all this is.
I mean, yeah, it's all jealousy. You know, we all picture those moments in our head, but we never realize it's.
And then
be
I
like
wake
that
up.
Perfect. Yeah, wake up like.
And
5
then I
minutes
wake up.
later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
Yep.
You know how
the
it
breeze
goes.
running through my hair as I propose to my future beautiful wife, and then I wake up.
And I become 60 pounds lighter and back to my pale self. So I mean, that's how the ball
lighter.
rolls.
I get heavier. So that's you want to go. You want to switch.
I mean, I've been asking people that same question like my whole entire life. So I mean,
You did
understand.
that to me, Cornerstone. By the way, that is the hardest thing to do on this campus is eat healthy. There's no way. They do not have the right to claim that they want us to eat healthy because it's just not true.
What about the salad bar?
The
deli?
salad bar is tucked away. I don't even see the salad bar. I see the main bar. I see the main dish, and then I see the dessert dishes over here, and that's all I see.
If
it's
you're
like
standing in line, you see the first thing is the salad bar.
no.
Come on now.
No.
I mean, half the time I never get to stand in the line anyways because I'm in class.
I see
at that
people
time,
making
but
salads, and I'm like, that's gross. Why would you do that?
I do not have the gift of making artistic salads.
No.
Like, I look at everybody else's salad, and I look at mine, and I regret all life decisions. And I'm like, how did they do that? And I just throw this together.
Yeah, I don't know how we got from baseball to salads, but let's get back on point. So yeah, big trips there for Austin Hurt. Obviously, Colin Young doing his thing down there. He's going to be pretty big for them this year. Again, as we mentioned, pitching has just been problematic. It's just been, and I talked to a player yesterday. Talked to a guy yesterday, and he said they're just kind of missing. They're just kind of missing something. 41 walks over 4 games. There's no way you're just not going to win when that happens.
You know what they're missing? Trenton Gilman on the mound. The man has the top ERA of 0 out of 1 appearance and 1 batter. Mm-hmm. He got 1 out. That man has some promise. Mm-hmm. Think about it. Mm-hmm. You throw him up there. He's a sleeper. He's like the Ichiro or the
right.
Who else was like a player pitcher
right
in the majors?
Player pitcher.
There's somebody.
Ichiro was a player pitcher.
No, well Ichiro was thrown up there. You know how that goes. Like you're getting schmacked and
so
there you go.
He would be the guy that they just kind of
just a spot reliever. You know what I mean?
That seems problematic to me. Yeah, I get it. But that's the other thing that's screwy about Cornerstone is really they're hurting for good, deep pitching.
Right.
Now the NAIA goes out of their way to make double headers, sometimes on Friday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
That's back-to-back games in 2 straight days. Yeah. nine inning games.
Well, and it doesn't hurt that you don't play a whole series in a weekend. You'll play a doubleheader, say, at home, and then you have to go drive down to Sylvania, Ohio for a doubleheader the next day.
Right.
And that might be you travel at like 7 in the morning to make it to like a 1 o'clock game. And I'm probably exaggerating, and I'm probably off-timed there. But you get the concept.
Yeah. It makes sense, I guess, the way the NAIA did it. I didn't appreciate them taking away fall ball. I was really looking forward to broadcasting some games there. Plus, I think it makes sense in terms of fitting games in, because
the weather's crazy.
It's just, and then all of a sudden we're just in a big rush to pack everything in. So, I don't know, it is what it is. So, yeah, pitching's a problem. We saw them drop a 5-0 lead a couple nights ago against Davenport. By the way, check out the grand slam from
Jared Burton.
Jared Burton.
The
CMU transfer from when he was a freshman coming over to Cornerstone. Pummeled the ball to right field. To
make it 5-0 at that point.
5-0. And that's the first grand slam since 2014.
Yep.
That's the first one. For a while there, Jesse Campbell and I were kind of talking. We're like, we're wondering if that's the first one since the revival of the program in 2013. It wasn't, but they ended up losing that game.
Exactly.
So you go up 5-0. Your pitching gives up, a walk-off style win. And that's the thing. That's one of the things about this Cornerstone team that our baseball team is talented.
Oh, yeah.
They were talented last year. They jump out to good leads. They're quick out of the gates, but when you break it all down, it seems like there's always just something that's missing.
Well, here's my theory. So I've always said this: Cornerstone's starting pitching is good. I believe
it's very good.
I believe our starting pitching is solid. You dive further into the bullpen, then you start getting some problems, and I believe that's what happened in the spring break trip.
And it's not even talent; it's just consistency.
Right.
You're playing at an NAIA level. You're playing in college baseball, and I can't comment. I haven't played baseball since my sophomore year of high school. But you got to be able to throw strikes. Let guys hit off you. Let Krapansky, who in my mind, and I've talked to some of the players, they agree too. He's one of the best. I would say one of the best defensive players, if in his position, in the entire nation. Let guys like that go to work. But you have to throw strikes and at least give yourself a fighting chance without giving guys free passes. That's like giving up 30 free throws in a game.
And speaking as a pitcher myself, that's the problem with pitching at any level,
right,
is command. Anything can happen at that point. It's your slider isn't working that day. The wind is going against your off speed, so it doesn't have as much bite to it. There's many different components that can go into that kind of thing. But one thing that the newest assistant coach, Coach Boyum, has been working with a lot of our guys on is the mentality part of your at-bats and pitching is you got to be able to make adjustments. That's what puts you on varsity at the NAIA level or any level is your ability to make adjustments in any given scenario. And that's one thing that I will be straight up, a lot of us have and need to work on, and that's any program.
Right. There's a lot of fiery guys in this team and in this program. I've heard, a lot of guys that have high expectations for themselves get very frustrated if it doesn't turn out that way. But again, that might be the missing piece, the missing component. That might be. By the way, not to go off the rails here, loving the new unis,
dude. I know.
Loving the new unis. The cursive is just. The cursive is cool, and I love the dark blue with the gold
around
lettering.
The sleeve.
If you haven't seen the new baseball uniforms, check them out because I think they're sweet. But anyways, it's just that there's that missing missing component to this team. And I think it's coming together. We've seen the improvements. Obviously, they've improved a lot since Coach E went 5-95 and the team went out of did not exist anymore for a little bit. Did you know that?
Really?
He's the head coach of the baseball team. He went 5-95.
What?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Nope, Coach E.
The
Same Coach E that was just inducted into the NAI Hall of Fame, the only one from Cornerstone, also ran the baseball program into the ground.
What?
Yeah.
I always wondered.
The more you know.
What happened before the 2013 rebuild, revive? I don't know what the word is.
Yeah.
But I've always wondered what that deeper history was because we didn't have the not Dallas Baptist. I don't think D1 college baseball's on the mind, baby. The Grand Rapids Baptist team.
Right.
I've always wondered about that because you don't. We always say since the 2013 revive. It's you never hear about the history of further back.
I would like to hear more about what it was like before. Obviously not good. I don't know how you win 5 games in 4 years. That's rough. That's 3 1-win seasons, unless he won 3 in one season and none in, I don't know.
It do be like that sometimes.
By the way, yeah. So let me. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how they finish out the year, how everything works out. Obviously, you guys got new training regimens going on. You got new stuff that you're trying. You're trying out the mental thing. You're switching up the schedule. I mean, you never come to me with a consistent schedule ever. It's always changing up. Coach E's always trying to add more hours, add more ways. Did I say Coach E?
Yeah, you said Coach E. You got to get out of the rhythm, man. You got to get out of the rhythm. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. Baseball's back. But anyways, so yeah, Coach Chuck. They're trying to do these little things, and they looked decent against Davenport. And Davenport's a good team. I mean, they're what, 11-3 right now? 11-4.
11-4.
11-4.
Somewhere around that ballpark. I know they had a great spring trip, man.
So they're playing great baseball, and we just played obviously really well against them. So it's going to be interesting, but we're gonna have to show up, and if they're going to have to get at least one big win over one of the premier teams. Uno, Madonna, Lawrence Tech, obviously, who's always been good. They're going to have to get that one key win or that one key series victory to really kind of convince some minds that they're on the right track.
Well, and here's the thing. You mentioned Madonna, and Madonna's coming up this weekend, and you can catch both of us on that call, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was looking at their schedule, and they've played some pretty darn good teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
They each and every single ranked opponent except for number 1 Southeastern, who is the reigning national champion.
Yeah.
And is just on fire. They've won at least one game in every ranked series that they've played in the spring and the fall. So they're an inconsistent team because you look at those ranked opponents, and you go and look at the mid majors, if you will, of the NAIA.
Right.
They're inconsistent. They've lost some games they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of the WAC conference teams.
Right.
So it's about just showing up every game day and just battling.
It's early. It is early. I'm hopeful for the WAC because a lot of these games don't matter.
Right.
Non-conference games, you're getting your feet under yourself. It's so hard as a baseball player who lives in the Midwest. How do you get any sense of rhythm? I mean, unless you're consistently hitting inside, but even then, hitting inside against someone throwing a bullpen, that's still not live baseball. Yeah. That's still not live chances, live opportunities. That's why guys go to SEC schools. That's why the SEC runs college baseball. Because trust me.
I wouldn't say
trust
that.
Me.
The Big 12. The Big 12.
Okay, the Big 12's right up there. But even I mean, they're still in pretty warm areas in the Big 12.
Yeah.
It's the South.
Yeah.
And
southern schools.
Southern schools. So I'm okay with a couple losses on that spring break trip, even if they were ugly, because we don't get the same opportunities up here to get guys into that rhythm before they go out there on the field. So I'm okay with that. But the WAC tournament play is going to be is going to be huge this year. I remember talking to Jared Burton earlier this year, and he goes, "This is our year." He goes, "If we want to make some noise, this has to be the year, and this has to be the time that we step up and we make it happen." He goes, "We have the talent. We just mentioned it. Talented team all around.
Oh, yeah.
It's the work ethic. It's the can you come together, maybe get rid of some of those cliques that have formed within the team at some points. I'm not saying they exist anymore. I know that there have been issues previously. We don't need to discuss those issues. We don't need to go there. But can they figure out a way to iron things out so that potentially we can see this team start to build in the direction of becoming WAC champions? I don't see it this year, but that's not to say it can't happen. A, and B, they're building in that direction.
I think they have the potential to make a statement in the WAC conference. I honestly believe that. Now, it's going to take them to find that one thing, as we were mentioning, to put themselves above. And like you said, northern schools, it takes a little bit more time sometimes to find your rhythm again.
Right.
And that just comes with time. You're just now getting into conference play. And now we just have to sit back and just watch how that plays out.
Right. All right.
Now, we're gonna put that picture on Twitter.
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know about that, man.
Let's make some interactive content. Get the fans involved. Come on,
Get
man.
some going. All right,
Come
fine.
on.
Fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
there you go. Now you're getting to your senses.
Let me get the episode up first, though. You know what I mean?
I can take care of the photo.
Yeah,
I can take care of
okay,
that.
All right, whatever.
That's easy enough done.
Sweatpants and a dress shirt. I'm pretty sure everyone can just figure out on their own.
These are not sweatpants.
They're
thank
joggers.
you. They are stylish bottoms. I will say
Stylish bottoms.
Stylish bottoms.
They are stylish bottoms.
Joggers.
You are a
these
weird
joggers
person.
are not sweatpants. Look, they feel the material. That's
You
not
are
a
just
sweatpants.
an oddball. You know that?
Hey, you gotta
That's
wear
still
that with pride.
okay.
That is not a sweatpants.
Yeah,
know
but
what
you
I'm
would
talking
go
about.
work out in those, clearly.
I would not go work out in these. Thank you. They do not have enough give for this thick body, this slim, thick body.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
That is an inside baseball
I'm going
joke,
to
thank you.
kick the crap out of you when this goes. You just called yourself slim thick. That's disgusting.
I call myself
I
that
just
all the
puked in my
time.
mouth.
You should have heard this before. The whole baseball team has heard this before many
You're slim
times.
thick and I'm thick. Okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
the new name of the podcast.
All
There
right.
you go. Perfect.
Thick. All right. We're done. You guys have a good day. Make sure you check back here for more interactive content, as well as our daily segments. We're coming at you every single day with more. Make sure you hit us up on YouTube at The Nest Podcast or on Twitter at The Nest GR. Again, that's YouTube at The Nest Podcast or on Twitter at The Nest GR. If you want us to try anything or talk about anything, or if you thought we missed something, make sure you leave a comment. Hit us up in our DMs or whatever else you got to do. You probably know who we are. You'll probably see us walking around. It's not like we're famous or something. So, anyway, we'll see you guys around campus. Have yourself a great day.